ensures visibility across a wide geographic area.
Don't miss out on the opportunity to amplify your message with iRadio. Partner or advertise with us today and make your voice heard across South Sudan.
Welcome to the Sundown Show. On this show, we bring you the movers and shakers of South Sudan and the world over. We engage in debates and discussions that unearth the stories behind the news. And we have our light moments too by chit-chatting about issues that affect our day-to-day life. Stay right here on the Sundown. Join in and be part of the show on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. The Sundown. For the news, views, opinion, debates, and discussions. Listen to who is who talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on iRadio with me, Madrama James. Today is Tuesday, the 6th of May 2025. The program comes to you Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. for a comprehensive look at the daily events, the latest information, in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and exciting surprises. To be part of the show, call us on 0911-229-86-986. If you can't access the radio, we are also on that Facebook, X, YouTube, and more. You can also stream this broadcast live by logging to our website at www.iradio.org. Coming up. The Minister of Information in the Abyei administrative area has raised concern over the worsening humanitarian situation as there is increase in the number of Sudanese returnees and Sudanese refugees is putting a severe strain on local resources and services.
والله هو التحديات كثير. أول حاجة يعني الضغط على الخدمات الأساسية، ونتيجة الضغط للخدمات الأساسية ممكن تنجي منه يعني ممكن البيئة، يعني في تردي في البيئة في المنطقة، وده ممكن يخلق لنا أمراض.
Well, in the second hour of the show, we will listen to an exclusive interview with Yona Kolngor, who is the Minister of Information in Abyei administrative area. Still to come, the Minister of Information, Michael Makwene-Lueth, he is urging journalists, media houses, and stakeholders to view artificial intelligence, also known as AI, as a tool for empowerment, not a threat to media or labor market.
Artificial intelligence represents opportunities and challenges as well in the press freedom and landscape in South Sudan. In terms of opportunities, artificial intelligence enhances journalistic practices by authenticating tasks, improving efficiency, enabling new forms of storytelling.
Well, we'll get more update from the Minister of Information, Communication, Postal Services, Michael Makwene-Lueth, in this particular first hour. And then in Western Equatoria State, the South Sudan HIV Commission has reported a 1% decrease in HIV prevalence in the state, making progress in the fight against the epidemic right here.
For the prevalence of HIV in this country, in Western Equatoria, the good news, it is dropping down. Initially, it used to be 7.8%.
نعم دوا كتير بجلنا توال في برنامج بتاع Sundown في يوم بتاع ليلة معكم في تقديم أنا مدرمة جميس بس هسي نشيل فاصلة بعد فاصلة ونرجع أنا بيبدأ برنامج بيبدأ في جوبا هنا بس كلي قريب جاميسا بتاعك.
تبسمة للراديو الحقيقة اي راديو إن تقوم في جنوب السودان.
Today, we will start the show by talking about the recent visit from the African Union and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development eager to assess the status of the peace process in South Sudan. On Monday, President Salva Kiir met with a high-level delegation from both the African Union and eager to discuss the progress of the peace process. The discussion focused on advancing the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement, ensuring regional stability, and supporting the country's democratic transition. The visit, led by African Union Commission Chairperson Muhammad Ali Yusuf, aimed at expediting the 2018 Peace Agreement Accord to promote regional peace and security and drive progressive democratic governance in the country. Minister of Presidential Affairs Achol Mauta Jongo acknowledged the importance of this meeting, noting its role in strengthening diplomatic ties and gathering first-hand information on the current situation in South Sudan. Now, let's listen to the Minister, Achol Maut, speaking to SSBC following their meeting yesterday, and this is what he had to say.
As a member of the African Union and also as IGAD, as I said earlier, our history, of course, connected with IGAD. IGAD came into existence when we were during negotiations, and we always appreciate, your presence, the chair, the AU at this critical juncture to listen to the government of South Sudan leadership. And as you go back to your colleagues in the headquarters of the African Union, you have the feeling and the views of the government of South Sudan that will enrich your perspective and that of the region, so that when we speak the same voice. We are getting hearsays from us.
Well, that was Chol Mahud, who is, of course, the presidential affairs minister right there. Now, on his part, AU chairperson Muhammad Ali Yusuf emphasized that their mission in Juba was once one of solidarity to support the people and government of South Sudan in the peace implementation process. Now, let's listen more from that Muhammad Ali Yusuf addressing the media after the meeting.
The main objective of this mission is, of course, to stand by the Republic of South Sudan on how best we can move together as the African Union, IGAD, and the Republic of South Sudan to preserve peace and stability in this country. As the guarantor of the peace agreement, the revitalized peace agreement, we also feel the need today to see how best we can support the government of the Republic of South Sudan to speed up the process of the implementation of this revitalized agreement. All the stakeholders of the peace agreement will come together again so that the dialogue be resumed very quickly. And we hope also that all these issues related to the insecurity or lack of security in some of the regions be resolved, and we need to think very thoroughly about the next steps with regard to the implementation of that peace agreement. And I'm referring to the drafting and endorsement of the permanent constitution. I also would like to underline the necessity of the unification of forces, and also would like to stress the fact that the election should take place after the end of the transition period by December 2026. All those, that schedule, all those, let's say, important steps should be really supported by the African Union and IGAD, and will do so. We'll also help the Republic of South Sudan to mobilize resources for those important events.
Yes, Muhammad Ali is the AU chairperson commission right there addressing, of course, the media. Now, yesterday we have take a look at whether the visit of the top African diplomats to South Sudan will help restore peace and create an environment of dialogue among South Sudanese leaders. Now, this time around, after getting, of course, the outcome of their visit to South Sudan, as you have heard from the chairperson, that it's one of the solidarity to support the people and the government of South Sudan in the peace implementation process. We are asking you what's your take. And of course, today marks the end of the stay in Juba, and they are getting also back. So call us on 091122986986 في زمن بتاسي نينا باسا ليتا بذاب طبعا AU Commission بقول جاتمون في داخل جنوب السودان عشان كيف يوقف مع جنوب السودان وكمان يساعدوا حكومة جنوب السودان عشان ينفذ اتفاقية بتاع 2018 فأمباري نينا كان بناقش بذاب في موضوع الحال جاتمون في داخل جنوب السودان بيجيبوا سلام وكمان بكتو جو بتاع حوار في داخل جنوب السودان يمشي قدام في زمن بتاسع تسل مانين أطوال في 09 وايد وايد ولا 22 986 والمكالمة هاي راديو.
الو السلام عليكم. هاي راديو.
عليكم سلام.
معك بانجان من COC في جوبا.
مرحب.
اولا تحيه لك، تحيه للمستمع الكريم مستمع هاي راديو في كل مكان.
شكرا.
زياره الوفد الاتحاد الافريقي زائد منظمة إيجاد لجنوب السودان من أجل حل الخلافات الحاصلة في مشاكل السياسية الحاصلة في جنوب السودان. أنا بعتبر الزيارة ده حتفشل، لأن مثلا أنا ما شايفين ولا ما سامعين ذات مخرجات بتاع الاجتماع ده حصل فيها شنو. لأن أهم حاجة إنه يعني ما يطلبه المبعوثين الجايين من الاتحاد الإفريقي، المفروض الوفد يقابل الدكتور مشار في إقامة الجبرية ويعمل حل النظام بتاع لينو، يعني الزول يطلق صراح بتاعه، يخلي يمشي المكتب بتاعه ويمارس نشاطه بالصورة العادية. إذا حاجات ما حصل، ما يطلق الصراح بتاع دكتور مشار وعشان يمشي المكتب بتاعه، معناه ما في فايدة. يعني جايتهم فايدة شنو حصل؟ أنا ما سمعنا من وزير الإعلام ولا منهم ذاته إنه يعني لاقوا رياض مشار في بيت بتاعه. أنا بعتبر الجيزة ده فرصة ذهبية بالنسبة لحكومة جنوب السودان، على أساس إنه يعني يشتغل بجد من أجل الوضع الأمنية الأساسية لإرجاع الناس، لإرجاع الاتفاقية للمسار الصحيح. حصل اتفاقية زي منهارة. إذا كان في غصب للمدنيين في كل يوم في الفندق وفي مزارات وفي أولم وفي ناصر وفي أي محل في الغصب للمدنيين، وفي نفس الوقت انا بطالب انه القوى الاجنبيه، الجيش الاجنبي، الجيش اليوغندي الموجود في جنوب السودان، لازم الوفد الاتحاد الافريقي يطالب حكومه جنوب السودان انه حكومه يوغندا انه الجيش لازم يغادر جنوب السودان، خلي الجنوبيين يتفاوضوا يتشاكلوا برام بدون اي دعم من اي طرف اجنبي. حتى الطائرات الحربيه اليوغنديه هسه قاعده تقتل المواطنين، ده لا حساب منه. كيف نحن نستجير بالاجنبي؟ يوغندا ده دولة جار بتاعنا، المفروض يكون يساعد الناس على الحل وليس زيادة الإشعال النار بتاع الحرب الحاصلة في جنوب السودان. أنا بناشد الاتحاد الأفريقي ممارسة ضغوطات على القيادات السياسية وخاصة المسؤولين في الHPLM AG، لأنه ده المسؤولين المفاتيح بتاع الحل. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا بنجان. ناسمة من داي راديو.
مدرامة جيمس.
يس سر.
أبو أستاذ مجوجين.
مرحب.
أنا بقدر أضيف الكلام اللي قاله بنجان. أنا طبعا تحليلي لزيارة بتاع الوفد الإفريقي وناس أفريكان يونيون. زيارة ما بكون فوق يعني ده استهلاك للأموال ساكت، لأنه ما أنت لما تزور دولة فوق يعني فوق سرعات أنت لازم تجيب أجندة واضح، يعني حتى أجندة بدون زار ما واضح كويس. هم هسه يتكلم إنه أننا دايرين إنه عشان اتفاقين في قدام، طيب اتفاقيه بمشوا قدامك اذا كان الشريك الاساس في الاتفاقيه نص اعضاء كله في السجون. انت بتعمل الاتفاقيه مع منو؟ كويس؟ يعني انت بتجي مع جنوب السودان في هذا الصعيد مثلا. اول حاجه ما سمين انه يعني يعني حتى يتكلم في الموضوع بتاع الانتخابات والدستور داعي. توكلوا ذات حتى يعني الاحزاب السياسيه في جنوب السودان ما عندهم دور. هل هم دار يتلاقوا الاحزاب السياسيه الموجوده؟ لان الاحزاب السياسيه الموجوده في جنوب السودان انا قاعد اقول ده حزب بتاع شنو؟ لانه زي لما حصل الاحداث ما حصل سنتين حزب ادانا. يعني اذا انا ساكت انه الكلام ده مرفوض، يعني التدخل بتاع يوغندا ما في حزب ادانا، هم بيقولوا حزب. انا ما فاهم حزب سياسي معناه، عشان انا ما فاهم جنوبيين قاعد يفهموا كيف. حتى الوفد ده الجيش ما ادانا يوغندا، يعني يوغندا كداعم برضه هو برضه بعمل اتفاقيه في نفسه كده رسل، يعني عندي جيش في جنوب السودان، يعني ما صاروا ذات عشان يشوف افريقيا جيشنا ده مغلوب، يعني ما فاهمين كويس. انا ما اعرف خايفين من بعض ولا ده كلام مصالح. اذا ده كلام مصالح معناه ده عباره عن جزء مزيف بيستهلك اموال بتاع افريقيا ساكت وما بيقدم حلول. كويس، ما بيقدم حلول. يعني هذا الجنوبيين اللي بنراقب انه افريقيا يونيون ده والاتحاد الافريقي ده هيقدموا شنو مثلا؟ كويس؟ معناه ده هيرجعوا ثاني. ولا اخير كان الزياره كان جايبوا رايل اودينغا ده لانه كان حاول انه يقدر يقابل دكتور مشار هناك في بيته، هم رفض. كويس؟ فانا ما اعرف هل مفتاح الكرا دكتور مشار ده في يوغندا يعني ولا وين، انا ما اعرف. كويس؟ لانه بهذه الطريقه اذا ناس المعارضه كله في سجن هنا، الكيس بتاع الجهاز بتاع المعارضه اعضاء الكبار كله يكون في السجن. طيب هذا حيوان وامره. اول حاجه ده حتى الدكتور مشار ده ما عفوا من مركبه، وده غريب. يعني انت بتعتقل زول كويس، انت تعملوا انفستيجيشن، انت ما شلت حصانه بتقول لسه النائب الاول رئيس الجمهوريه، يعني ده كلام غريب. يعني هيقعد كده انت محترم بجيت مكان نفسه قال هو يقول لي انتوا من هذا قال انتوا ليدرشيب وزاد ما شايفين ولا ماشي وين ذات ما قاعد كان كده ما قاعد يلحق. عشان كده انا قاعد اقول شفت مدرامه جيمس يعني الموجود في جنوب السودان ده عالم هسه قاعد راغب. طبعا الكويس انه طبعا المنظمه العالميه قاعد راغب افريقيا اليونيون بتاع افريقيا ده دول هيقدموا شنو؟ هل بقدر بحل مشاكلهم؟ برا. عشان كده هسه لما نجي يقول بعد ريجنال بودي بعد نجي بكوري ولا كواجر بدخل بشهور ولا العالم ده ينفتح. الناس اذا نمشي في المنظومه العالميه المفروض نشوف العالم ده بيقول شنو.
شكرا.
ما ممكن يعني شعب يعني دوله يرجع للشعب بتاعهم.
شكرا.
يعني هم بيقول في انتخابات معناها انتخابات بيقول اتجاه بس
اتجاه
كده يصوتوا اتجاه وده بتزكيه. هو ما في انتخابات بس عباره بس مسرحيه بس كده وانتهت. كده كله مفهوم. أنا بنعمل اللي يفترض يكون فيه حكومة. أنا ما قال فيه حكومة يفتح ولا في تسميات كتاب ما عندنا أي معنى.
نعم. شكرا. Now, according to that, Stas Majoka, ideally the visit of the African top diplomat should center on some other concern issues like the foreign intervention, talking about the detained officials who are also key to the 2018 revitalized peace agreement, and the agendas of their visit to South Sudan would have been very clear, but all these were not really made public, and that's where he is also sharing his reservation about. Thank you. Let's keep the conversation going right here on 0911022986. Yesterday we did talk about the visit of the top African diplomats to South Sudan, and as they have concluded their visit to South Sudan, AU chairperson Muhammad Ali said their visit or their mission to Juba was one of solidarity to support the people and the government of South Sudan in the peace implementation process. Now we are asking you, what's your take on that? 0911022986. Hi, Radio.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
This is Anna Jacob from Budele.
Marhab.
أنا طبعا في حاجة بسيط لعاي راديو
قدم
إنه الوفد الاتحاد الأفريقي اللي جاء من سنة من أفريقيا هو ممكن يكون حل ممكن يحلوا مشكلة الوقيد العالق بيننا وبين السين بتاعنا. لكن we cannot give up إنه ممكن يسنا. secondly الاتحاد الافريقي بعد مرات طبعا هم زادوا أنا بدنا ناخذهم لأنه هم زادوا بعد مرات ما بيجوا للحل اللي ممكن يكون حل سنة. ما في دول يعني for example السودان هسه هو قاعد يشاكل برا بس وما في اتحاد افريقيا ماشي فيه. ده واحد. اثيوبيا لما كان عنده مشكله مع اوروما برضه ما كان خلوا الاتحاد الافريقي يمشي. احنا كان جنوبيين مشاكلنا البرانا ده بدنا نحلهم. لكن هم اصلا لما ياخذوا حاجه فيه اوكرانهم ده اول حاجه زاد بيكون بتمشي للخراب. فانا ما متفائل لهم هم انه ممكن يعملوا الحل، لكن الحل بيجي للجنوبيين. نحن طبعا كان جنوبيين انا ويا بن صفا الناس بتاعنا بيجوا تعبانين. الوضع بتاع البلد زي ما انتم شايفينه برضه مشكله. حاجات كله ابن المواطنين بتاعنا ما مرتاحين. لكن الحل بيجي بين ليدر بتاعنا الناس المسؤولين مننا. الزول اللي اتكلم قبل شويه انه في مشاكل. طيب المشاكل اللي عمل نفسه في المناطق الثانيه ده ما نحن كان شعب بتاع جنوب السودان ما عندنا حاجه طبعا عشان نقول مثلا انه الحكومه ما عنده حق عشان يمشي المنطقه الفلانيه. الحكومه عنده حق وانا تاير عند الحكومه. اي زول مثلا بيطلع برا من السنه الحكومه بيستخدم معاه مثلا استخدم معاه اللي هو الحاجه دايره يعني. لكن ما في زول متفائل انه ممكن يكون المشاكل او بيتحل باللسنه. المشاكل بيتحل باللسنه لان البزع اللي عامل نفسه في المناطق دي ببزع انت ذات ما بتعامله. كان انت المواطن ذاته في حكومه بتاعك انت ما بتعامله. عشان كده الناس ما يكونوا في اللسنه ويطلعوا كلام ما في محله. انا الاتحاد الافريقي ده بالنسبه لنا يخلوا لنا قضايانا وانا ذاتك الجنوبيين نقول لهم يا اخوانا انتوا قلنا في دول اثيوبيا ده متى معلومه ما خشوا واثيوبيا ذات هو عضو بتاع الاتحاد الافريقي.
نعم.
السودان ده ليه ما خشوا في السودان؟ والسودان ناس او ناس بيتشاكلوا لهم سنتين. فمشاكلنا ده احنا بنقدر نديرهم. احنا كانسان سودانيين برانا بندير مشاكلنا ده. الاتحاد الافريقي ده هو خليه يكون قاعد. بعد لو في حاجه صعب احنا بنمشي لهم، لكن ما انا متاكد ما يجيبوا الحل.
نعم بيمشي لهم بيقى لو في حاجه كابو ده بيقى فايده وين؟
exactly لكن هسه احنا عندنا حوار. الناس بيتحاور مع ده الليدر بتاعنا. الليدر ده برضه هم خليه يحسبوا نفوسهم من الشعب الجنوب ده تعبان. ما كل زمن نعمل مشاكل في البلد بتاعنا. البلد ده داير حاجات كثير.
نعم.
البلد داير حاجات كثيره وحاجات دي لو ما في سلام ما بنعملهم.
شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا سيد دافا. نعم نسمع من داي راديو.
Good evening.
Good evening, James Duar.
Thank you. Madrama James, I really felt astonished when I saw the statement issued by African Union and IGAD.
Why are you surprised?
The statement is not justifying or making a clear roadmap to the current conflict in the country. And this seems that it happened to be the business that will not yield any good outcome to the citizen as well as the political situation that the country is facing. And African Union failed to recognize that they are above every president in Africa. Anything that they want to do must meet the standard, and they must have a law that give pressure to any leader. Failure to do so, there are consequences that should follow when you fail. And this thing seems to be lacking in African Union as well as IGAD. And that's why sometimes I term African Union as a toothless dog that will not do anything to the African people. Okay, if we really sustain this war, two things will happen. The independence that we say we are holding now is going to disintegrate because Sudan is in war and our people are participating there in Sudan war, both in RSF and SAP. So here, the more you continue with war and also there will be alliance, then you see Sudan now will be in a total war of which people will just come and negotiate where to begin because Sudan as a whole, including South and the North, will fight and the world will intervene later on when things already out of hand. So here you need to do this if you are really in politics or real politics, if you have political analysis. This need to be questioned. Okay, allowing war. You have a dispute in Abyei. These people can gang up, and you might have heard the attack of Syria, and it will not be that. There will be South Sudanese, whom Iliel Moro reported, going toward Raja. This will show that Sudan will be at war, and that war will make Sudan to be one. Either it disintegrate too many people are coming, knocking the door, begging. So if I also run out of something, how will these people survive? This should need to be looked at. Economic challenges that we are facing need also to be looked at. These are also symptoms of war that will really make the country put the country in different form. If we are really nationalist and patriotic, we need to see the war, go back to dialogue, then pave the way forward on how South Sudan should go ahead. But allowing, you said you are clearing and the rain are not yet started. When the rain is started later on, there will be so many problems. Those people will not be silent. They will continue. Please, if you want South Sudan, stop war, go for peace, then we really choose the way to get power rather than making things that are not making sense, Ajama. Ajama, and the more you play with it, the more you lose South Sudan, because Sudan and the North and the South will have a serious fighting. As a result, you may see later on Sudan united again in the wrong basis. So we need really to be realistic on what we are doing.
Thank you very much. In summary, what James Duarte is saying, we need to give a peace chance. Thank you. Let's keep the conversation going now. A quick reminder, talking about foreign intervention, to me, I think it will be very early enough to conclude that the African Union is a toothless organization. Why? There are so many ways foreign parties or external parties normally interfere in other countries' affairs. Let's remember that South Sudan is an independent country, meaning any other nation that would want to intervene into our own affairs, meaning there are other steps and procedures that have to be taken. And one of them is, of course, dialogue, engaging the leaders to do the needful. So let's keep the conversation going and share your thought with us also on our Facebook page via live call, SMS as well. iRadio. 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 iRadio.
Madrama.
Yes, Lul.
How are you?
I'm Tamam. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure.
Madrama, yesterday on the program, I cast doubt on the visit made by
the AU delegations
led by the head of African Union. Not because I object to the peace process, but Madrama, word is speak louder than action is speak louder than word. Because if we just talk without achieving any goal, and this amounts to nothing. I think the bloc was created to bring peace and instability in the region. I mean, the African Union. And now they are not doing their job. What they should do is to use the leverage to try to bring both parties to negotiating table to try to accelerate the electoral process, because now all the provision on the roadmap are not met, including the integration of army into one observance. And this hasn't happened. And also the the arrangement of a security arrangement, rather. All these things are not met. And how do we expect the peace in the country? In my opinion, the future of peace looks bleak because of all the things that happen here in our country.
So what's the way forward according to you as a citizen?
The way forward is dialogue. Dialogue is a word that has been used over and over again. So they should try to put aside the differences and put the people of South and first and expedite the electoral process so that people can go to vote by next year without more attention.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was Lul. Lul is saying, of course, let's give dialogue also a chance right here. Radio. Radio. Radio.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, this is Santo from Awil.
Santo from Awil, welcome on board.
Yes, thank you. I radio. Let me say this about the people we are talking. So what I have seen in South Sudan, if we are not, or if the government is not collecting all the work in citizen hands, we will not have a peace.
You mean disarmament, right?
Yes. Suppose government should proper take our big gun from citizens. And then we see peace will come without somebody talking. But if we still having a gun on citizen hand, we can live 100 years without the peace. The problem comes on citizens have a gun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thought with us that the problem of these countries, the citizens are well armed, and as such, disarmament should be carried out to give peace a chance. Now, via our Facebook page, we have W. Christopher. George is watching us live from Western Equatoria State capital, Yambio. Then we have Dr. Leko Joe March is watching us from that's Malakal, Upper Nile State. Jumar Kanjelo Akol is watching us from that's Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Thank you, and he is passing his greetings to all the three regions in the country. Then we have Agustino Luis is saying, hello, iRadio, I'm watching you from Wow. I pass my regards to everyone who is listening to iRadio, including you in the studio, plus the writers of iRadio across the nation. Madrama, you know, my brother, we have many issues in the country. We hate ourselves, and as such, we need to abolish that. Thank you. And then over to that, Gordon Riaka Maleki saying the visit and mission of the African Union to South Sudan are unlikely to result into enduring peace within the nation, as their previous presence has not achieved this outcome. Let's keep the conversation going. But now let's have our first commercial break of the show. Then we will bounce back stronger than even ever before.
The Ministry of Health is conducting a commemoration of African Vaccination Week with a new vaccine introduction of pneumonia vaccine, targeting all children aged between 6 to 14 weeks. Take your child to the nearest vaccination center during the African Vaccination Week or Big Catch-up campaign.
Good morning, Mama Alice.
Good morning, Mama Ladu. Where are you coming from this morning?
I had taken Ladu for pneumonia vaccination at the health center to protect my child against pneumonia and meningitis. He was also vaccinated with other routine immunization vaccines at no cost. Is baby Alice already vaccinated?
Yes, she was vaccinated last month. Does she need to be vaccinated again?
Yes, she needs to be vaccinated with at least 3 doses at 6, 10 and 14 weeks to be fully vaccinated, immunized and protected against pneumonia.
Really? I just heard from afar that there will be a vaccination campaign during the African Vaccination Week, but I was not keen enough to get the details.
You know, pneumonia vaccine is effective in preventing pneumonia and deaths in infants and young children. This vaccine has just been introduced this year, 2025. A lot of children were not vaccinated. Some even travel without being vaccinated. I wouldn't want to see any child get pneumonia.
I didn't know that pneumonia is very serious, that it can cause meningitis and even death.
Yes, pneumonia is a life-threatening disease caused by bacteria or viruses. The signs are cough, fever, chills, and shortness of breath, which may be accompanied by chest pain when breathing or coughing. Children who survive may experience long-term effects on lung function and increased risk of respiratory conditions like asthma.
Asthma or lung function complication? Oh, that sounds scary. How can I protect my child from this dangerous disease?
The only way for your child to be safe is when your child and all children in your neighborhood are vaccinated with pneumonia vaccine.
I will do that immediately. Where can I take my child for this vaccine? Hope it is not late.
No, you are not late. Pneumonia vaccine and all the other routine vaccines are available at all government health centers in your areas. Tell your neighbors with children between 6 to 14 weeks to be vaccinated.
I'm glad you told me. I will take my child immediately to the nearest health center for pneumonia vaccination.
Bring your child to the nearest health center and protect them from pneumonia and other vaccine-preventable diseases. This message is brought to you by the National Ministry of Health with support from WHO, UNICEF, and South Sudan Women in Medicine.
The crucial message that I would want to tell people of South Sudan is that we have tried war in 2013, 2016, but it fails. Let us embrace peace and let us engage in dialogue. And our government and leaders, there is no other alternative but dialogue. Dialogue is the only solution. And I would want to call upon our religious leaders to actually continue putting pressure on leaders of South Sudan, the political class, to make sure that this country does not descend or go back to a full-scale war in South Sudan. Our people cannot afford another war because it will be devastating to our people.
The Sundown, for the news, views, opinion, debates and discussions. Listen to who is who talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Yes, welcome back from our first commercial break, and this time around, now let's shift our gears to another important topic. The Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Services, Michael Makwene, is urging journalists, media houses and stakeholders to view artificial intelligence, also known as AI, as a tool for empowerment, not a threat to a media or labor market. During the World Press Freedom Day commemoration in Juba this morning, Michael Makwene discussed how AI can enhance journalism, improve efficiency, and create new forms of storytelling. However, he also cautioned against the misuse of the technology, highlighting its potential risk, including misinformation and disinformation. Michael Makwene also mentioned that while AI brings challenges, it offers opportunities to strengthen press freedom and improve journalistic practices in South Sudan. Let's now listen to Michael Makwene as he addressed the gathering in Juba this morning.
There has been a talk about artificial intelligence. artificial intelligence is a development in the field of technology. And artificial intelligence is coming with two things. It is coming with two at the same time. Artificial intelligence represents opportunities and challenges as well in the press freedom and landscape in South Sudan. In terms of opportunities, artificial intelligence enhances journalistic practices by authenticating tasks, improving efficiency, enabling new forms of storytelling. These are the advantages. But in terms of challenges, artificial intelligence poses risk, and among others, the spread of misinformation and disinformation. The manipulation of public opinion, it is a potential weapon for self-interest or bias. It is also a potential threat to the labor market. It is a potential threat to the labor market. In the first world, especially in the first world, where of course the first world has advanced and they are moving to the artificial intelligence. But where are we in terms of artificial intelligence here? It is a threat to the third world, to the labor market, because recently, last week I was in Addis, and we attended a ministerial summit where we had a discussion on the artificial intelligence. And the report was that within the coming few days, the labor market will be 40% artificial intelligence. Labor market will be 40% artificial intelligence. So, and for us here, we are talking of creating a labor market. People there are reducing the labor market. That is the dangerous part of it. So, when we adopt the artificial intelligence, let us use it in accordance with our situation. Because we are not here to go from here directly with the artificial to the labor market and apply the artificial intelligence at a time when we are actually struggling to create jobs for our coming generations. But artificial intelligence cuts down the labor market. We don't need to create jobs. The first way is working with the artificial intelligence because their market is advanced. And these are business people who want to make use the production, the rate of the cost of production must be very low so that you make more money. But for us here, we are here to create jobs so that we provide labor. So that is the situation in which we are. We need to be very careful because the artificial intelligence is, yeah, we want it, but we should take it in accordance with our situation. The artificial intelligence, therefore, we must proactively address these challenges to ensure that artificial intelligence serves as a tool for empowerment and not a threat to the press, media, or the labor market. This is the most important part that we need to know so that we don't. In conclusion, as we celebrate World Press Freedom Day 2025, let us reaffirm our commitment to protecting and promoting press freedom in South Sudan. By working together, we can create a media landscape that is vibrant, independent, and responsible, and that serves as a vital pillar of our democracy. The Ministry of ICT and Postal Services remains fully committed and dedicated in support to the media in its critical role of informing, educating, and empowering our citizens in the empowering our citizens. In fact, the media is the fourth pillar of any government, as it is said. So be assured that we are here to support you, and we'll make sure that we develop you to the required standards. However, as is stated by some of the colleagues, there is a report of some of the media houses which are still down. Yes, they are still down because they are either in conflict with the law or they have their own other problems. And as long as you are in conflict with the law, then you follow up your case so that it is resolved. And if you have any problem, it is the media authority that is your advocate. So you report to the media authority and they will address your case. Some of the media houses have closed down because of their financial crisis. That is not our problem. We will not be in a position to solve it for you. We will not be in a position to solve it for you because that is your own problem. Yugo Monitor and other media houses are closed. Yes, they are in conflict with the law or any other thing. Let them go to the media authority, they will know why and how will their problems be resolved. In addition, what I would like to inform you is that, yes, we are going for elections in 2026. And before we go for elections, we will train you as journalists. For elections, it is our duty. We'll give you the necessary training because you will be part and parcel of the monitoring body in the elections. So you will be trained, be ready. When we call you for training, don't give us any excuses, attend the training. This is what I can tell you so that we prepare you for elections, because the elections, we believe that the elections that we will run will be free, fair, credible, and we will create the necessary conducive atmosphere for elections so that everybody enters that field without fear or anything.
As you have heard it all from the Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Services, Honorable Michael McQueen Lueth, right there. Let's wrap up this discussion by asking this question, or by answering this question. Do you think artificial intelligence is being abused by journalists and media houses in South Sudan, and what are the stake pressed freedom in South Sudan? And what's your reaction also on the minister's comment right there? 0911022986 Radio.
Good evening. James.
Yes, James Dwar.
Yes. To begin with, you cannot abuse when you are granted a full freedom of expression. Reaching to artificial media or artificial designers of media outlets without giving free and fair freedom of speech. Journalists are restricted. When they wrote anything that is against their interest, then you call the victim. And I heard him repeating several times that those are in conflict with the laws. And I also want him to go and read transitional constitution that give people free press and freedom for assembly. So now, who is in conflict with law here? If you reject something that is in the constitution and you tell there are those in conflict of the law, who is against law here? Somebody who violates the transitional constitution, which is the Bible law that we are using. But the fact that favoring the other people like citizens is really being violated, and they choose 101 and some article there which they want to fulfill their interest. So I don't even understand. Coming to the current situation of talking of election, Ajama, for how long are we fooling ourselves? For how long will we keep fooling ourselves? Election without any preparation will not come. Even they themselves who are supporting each other now, when it comes to election and you have interest to contest in any political seats and you are provoked, then it will cause another conflict because you will be there with your interest of being a leader, but you are now blocked because of maybe one reason or the other that they know as those who want to be dominant on other people. So really, we are really, I don't know what kind of description that I can give, because we need really to be realistic of any statement that is really air out. What he's saying, maybe for his own sake, but to me, I don't see anything as a solution to it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, James Duarte is reacting to the remark made by that Honorable Michael Makwenu right there. We have James Nicola, who is watching us live from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, that all we need in South Sudan is, of course, freedom and peace in our country like any other countries around the globe. Thank you so much for following us. And then Mr. Lazarus Leith is saying, yeah, we need, at the moment, we need not to talk about election when the country is really unstable security-wise. Take a look at what's happening in some other places or some other parts of the country. Thank you so much for adding in your opinion. And this main point of time, I would like to say that we have successfully come to the end of our very discussion. But first, we have take a look at the visit, the wrap-up visit of AU chairperson Muhammad Ali, who said their mission to Juba was one of solidarity to support the peace and government of South Sudan in the peace implementation process. Then we also dived into the commemoration of World Press Freedom Day that we took part in it today, and where Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Services Michael Makwenu urged journalists, media houses and stakeholders to view artificial intelligence as a new opportunity, but not as a threat to that is the labor market. And thank you so much for sharing your opinion with us. And with that, I would like to say we have come to the end of our discussion. And I have been your host, Madrama James. And up next is, of course, news, headlines in English, and at the same time, Arabic. Do stay tuned.
عزيزي مستمع إذاعة آي راديو، لما تشارك في أي موضوع على الإذاعة أرجوك تفادي تصريحات بتحرض أو بيشجع على الكراهية. إحنا بنشجع نقد بناء وآراء هادفة اللي بتهدف إلى توفير الحلول للمشاكل اللي بتواجه الدولة. إحنا ما دايرين ترويج للشائعات أو المعلومات اللي بتعتبر بأنها شائعة أو أغاويل. إحنا بندعو إلى رسائل السلام والوحدة بين مواطنين جنوب السودان. ده آي راديو، عينك على جنوب السودان.
رسالة بتاعي للناشونال جوفرمنت revitalize peace agreement